Hey y'all, good morning. This is Angie here from Happy Girl Paper Crafting, and it's time for my 10th of the month inspiration collaboration design team project. And we are making our own designer series paper using stamps and techniques and whatever we choose to. And my topic is going to be spring, something springy. And I have some adorable little bunny pictures that my husband took a couple years back. And look outside here. Isn't it pretty out here? Just kind of misty and foggy. We did have a whole lot of rain here recently, and it's kind of cold right now, but I'm going to turn around so you can see our pond. It's it's like a really full soup bowl that's about to overflow. So isn't that neat? It's really beautiful though. And of course it's about sunrise because I am an early bird. And so I hope you enjoy my video here because it's kind of fun to do these in the front of the thing. But I really hope you enjoy our collaboration with my team. We've got Dawn Height and Kalia Cadot and a couple others who I'm going to mention later in the videos, okay? I hope you enjoy this series. All right, so it's the 10th of the month, so time for a collaboration with my inspiration collaboration design team. So like I said in my video, I started out with the intention of doing pages based on a page based on these little rabbit pictures, which are so cute. My husband found these in the yard when he was mowing one day, and oh my gosh, they are the cutest things. He touched them because he had to pick them up whenever he chased them down because they ran out of there when they got scared by his lawnmower when he was mowing the lawn. And so that's why he had picked them up. Otherwise, he wouldn't have touched them. So here's what I had come up with to go along with it. And long story short, love this paper right here, by the way. Long story short, I fiddled around with this for so long and then decided it was a little more cutesy than I wanted to use with these particular rabbit papers. I wanted it to be more outdoorsy. So I decided to just completely change direction, and I picked different photos and a whole different theme. I decided that I wanted to scrapbook these pages with my son, Jared, and his fiance, Emily. They are working on a little mini remodel of their house, painting and such. And that was Rachel, her mom, and there's Emily, and that was Jared in the picture before. Here's my husband. Everybody's painting, and there are me and my husband goofing before we were getting to work. So the thing with these pictures was I really wanted to use this stamp set, a Rainbow of Thanks, and see how it's got all the cute little paint rollers and paint brushes and paint streaks. And I just thought this is the perfect thing to make my own designer series paper for this challenge. So that's what I'm going to do today. And the colors I chose for this were Pecan Pie, Secret Sea, and Crumb Cake, because Jared and Emily picked some pretty neutral colors, which is a very wise idea for their house, for their paint colors, and for their flooring. They picked kind of a wood grain flooring that they'll be working on soon. And so that's what I'm using on the stamp set here, is I'm using Crumb Cake right now for that thin paint streak line. And then I used that Pecan Pie for the wider streaks, and I also use Secret Sea for more of the sort of medium streaks of these paints. There's 3 different widths of paint lines. 2 of them are pretty similar, but they're a little bit different. So that's what I'm working on here, is I'm got 2 different sheets that I've got. One's going to be thinner and one is going to be thicker. I think I'm doing about 5 lines on this one, and I did 3 on the one you just saw me working on. And so I was showing you there the Secret Sea stamp, the ink that I'm using, and the little strip there that I'm putting in between the Pecan Pie and the Crumb Cake there. And I had to kind of connect them. See how they've got the kind of rough ends on there to look like paint streaks. So I just kind of went to the ends and covered those up with the top of the stamp, because the whole thing is supposed to look kind of, not ugly, but streaky paint streaks. All right, and so here's what I ended up with, and I thought they turned out great. I had the nice kind of uneven ends at the end, and one's wider than the other, and you'll see why here as we go along with this design process. And then this paper is so cool. It's kind of got almost a little line sort of chevron, and the paper that I used for this was that add-on that was, let me see here, Mixed Up Patterns that they came out with. I believe that's in the current catalog, that you can order that online. Yes, and so I cut those down to 11.5 by 4 inches, that that pretty Secret C paper. And then I'm trying some little samples that I have of some wood grain Wonder paper that is so pretty. I love that wood grain Wonder, but I am going to end up using a bigger piece than this. But I'm just kind of testing it out with my photos and the background there. I recently had seen a video that Erin Jacobson from Crafty Concepts with Erin had made, and she had made like a 10 by 10 inch block that had a grid on it, and that's what I decided I was going to do. But it wasn't like taking up one side of the paper, like on the right side or the left side. She had it a little bit offset, like 2/3 of it on one side and 2/3 on the other. So right here, you see me with my cut down papers, and like I said, 4 by 11.5 for the Secret C paper, and then the other one's about 10.5 with my designer series paper that I made. And on the right hand side, that looks a little weird because my paper that's 4 by 11.5, the Secret C one, seems like it's not quite looking right with that skinnier piece. So I'm going to end up cutting that down later. Then it's going to look a lot better with that skinnier piece. And it's going to go better with my grid that I use here. And it's not going to be 2/3 on either side of this paper. It's going to be 1/3 on the left and 2/3 on the right. That's mathematically a lot more correct. All right, so I'm going to lay out my photos on the paper here. A lot of the photos on the left-hand side, if they are looking towards the right, I'm going to try and put them on the left. And then on the right-hand side, if they're looking towards the left, I'm going to try and put them on the right hand side. Now, it's not going to work out exactly that way. I have a lot more of the ones looking towards the left, so but I'll do the best I can. And it's kind of, I can do whatever I want here. It's I'm the boss of these pages, right? All right, so there's the picture of Jared and Emily on the day they bought their house, and they're just so proud, and that's them at the signing. I'm thinking I'm going to use that one on a different page, but I put it out here in case I decided to use a flip flap here. All right, so I'm going to cut down that one other piece of Secret C paper on the right, and it looks a lot better with that skinnier sheet and with the whole grid shifted to the right. All right, so I look at the ladybug on my little glue runner. Isn't that so cute? They're flying around my house all over the place right now. Okay, so I put the paint brushes and the paint roller on this stamp set together, and I kind of lined them up under those paint streaks at different levels, and I stamped them on there in ink that is, I believe, early espresso. And isn't that so cute? I thought that really makes it. Okay, so now I'm going to put some other embellishments, and these are little paint swirls from the stamp set. Looked really good, so I did them all 3 colors, and I'll end up cutting that out and using that for an embellishment. And then I ended up pulling this stamp set that is called, what's this called? I think it's called Stylish Shapes, yeah. And it had a bunch of splatters and, different kinds of cool effects. And so I did it in Secret C in the center of my grid there, and I thought that looked cool, and I did some splatters there. And I did pick that splatter set to use to make some splatters around the page. Even though my other stamp set had it, it wasn't as good as this splatter. So I used my Cricut spatula to lift up the corners there, and as you can see, I'm kind of going around with my pecan pie ink and doing first and second generation stamping all around those corners of this grid, because I just thought, painting is a messy business, and I thought it would look really good to have these little paint splatters there. It just makes sense, and it's kind of a neat little technique I've seen other YouTubers like Erin use, and so I decided to do it. It's perfect for this since we're painting, and so that's coming together there and looking pretty good. And I had forgotten to lift that edge up with my spatula, so I did it there, and I'm doing my last little bit of the splatter there. And let's see how this looks. Yeah, I'm really happy with that. I think that looks great. Makes a lot of sense there to have paint splatters around all the corners. So we're going to go with that. Looks good. Okay, now I think I've got everything stuck down now, and we're ready to start thinking about embellishments. So I had made this off camera. I thought I was recording, and I wasn't. So you get the finished product. And I used my alphabet a la mode and mini alphabet on those, which I'm getting ready to show you. But right now I'm showing you Stylish Shapes because I used that all over on these. And there's my mini alphabet, and here is my alphabet a la mode alphabet. And folks, I just think these are just standard things I have to have in my collections. I use them all the the time. All right, so I cut out a circle using stylish shapes out of the wood grain Wonders paper, and then some out of crumb cake paper. And then I had made this using stylish shapes and my mini alphabet. I made this little thing that said updates, and I'm testing it out here in the center. I made a smaller tag. I used the bigger tag over on the left, and I made a smaller tag. And then with my stylish shapes, I kind of fashioned my own little embellishment house. So it's very basic, but I thought it turned out pretty cute, and I'm gonna figure out a way to put a little door on there here in a minute as well. So this next set I'm pulling is called Tags to Go, and I've got that out because I want to make some keys. Now look, I wanted to show you this mistake I made. Look, instead of painting, it said painting there. See, that's going in the trash. It's not going to be useful in any of my pages because I do like to spell my words right. And there's my little swirly paint things, that embellishment I made there. But I'm also pulling this Lunar Luster paper because I'm going to make my keys from the Tags to Go set out of that. And I thought it's perfect for that, and I've got so many uses I'm going to use that for. That's in the newest March online exclusives. So here I wanted to show you this because I was making some more letters for some because I'm going to make some more things with these letters. And so I used my mini alphabet, and you do a whole you cut a whole alphabet at one time. So I wanted to bring this brushy tool out and show you because I found this at a scrapbooking store in Branson that I love, but I had never used one before. I just always used my pokey tool, and that is so annoying. So I brought this out to show you. These brush tools are awesome. And so the Take Your Pick tool from Stampin'Up has an attachment with a brush tool, and you need one because for stuff like this, it's much easier than using the pokey tool. So here's my letters that I was just making, and we did a lot of scraping and sanding and then painting. So that says scrape and paint. And so I decided that was going to look the best in the grid there. And then with my tags, I didn't want to use ribbon or twine. I decided I wanted to use some brads. So I was showing you some old brads that I pulled from my stash. I think they were from Joann's. And I used a kind of a brass colored one on each of these because I thought that went with the kind of the color scheme I had going there. And then there's one of the keys that I cut out of the Lunar Luster paper, and it looks so good. It's going to look good right there above the updates thing. Okay, so here it's all glued down and ready to be done finally, and my key looks good up above the updates. And then I'm really happy with the way all of my little tags and embellishments turned out, especially my scrape and paint one. We did so much of that needed to be there. Folks, I hope you like this video, and if you do, please give me a thumbs up. And then at the end of this is going to end up being attached to my group that we did the collaboration with, and so I hope you will watch their videos and enjoy their videos. It's fun to see other people's takes on the same types of challenges that I am working on. I really enjoy them, and they're very talented ladies, so check them out, please. And then I've got some still shots at the end, and like I said, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. It helps my channel, and I hope you enjoyed this. If you want to buy any of these products, I'd love it if you'd shop under Angela Nicholson at Stampin'Up.com, and have a great weekend.